Today we will discuss about Imam Hassan alayhi salam. To start off, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba is the second Imam of the Shia, but the fifth Caliph of the Muslim community for 7 months. For some Sunnis, he is regarded as the last of the rightly guided Caliphs. This part can cause a lot of confusion, so stay with me and I will precise you what is the rightly guided Caliph. Just to start off, for us, Imam Hassan is the second Imam, but for the Muslim community, he is the fifth right guidely Caliph. But let me explain you. First of all, the term rightly guided Caliph is not a Shia term nor a Shia belief. This is a Sunni belief, and so let me explain you about this Sunni belief. Al-Rashidun or rightly guided Caliph is a term that is used by the Sunni Muslims to refer to the first few rulers who succeeded Prophet Muhammad after his demise. In the order of succession, Rashidun Caliphs are, for Sunnis, not us, Rashidun Caliphs for the Sunnis are Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Imam Ali, and in some Sunni sources, Imam Hassan alayhi salam is also mentioned as Rashidun Caliph. But my Azadar, this is a Sunni belief, because they believe that only these four, and some believe that Imam Hassan too, were the only rightly guided caliphs. But this is not a Shia belief. Matter of fact, it cannot be a belief at all. Because us Shia, we believe that when somebody is the successor of Prophet Muhammad, he is chosen by Allah, he is a Masoom. So why are we saying rightly guided? It doesn't make any sense to say that some successors are right, some are wrong. Because the successor will only be who is chosen by Allah and who is a Masoom. That is why rightly guided Caliph or Al-Rashidun is a term that is only used by Sunni Muslims. This term is not recognized or used for Shia Muslims. Because us Shia, we use logic. We say it is impossible to have some successor of the Holy Prophet that are right, but some successor of the Holy Prophet that are wrong. That is impossible. A successor of the Holy Prophet is whom Allah has chosen and is somebody and is a Masoom. So the term rightly guided Caliph, my Azadar, is a Sunni term, is their belief, but it is not a Shia term, and us Shia, we do not have a belief in that. Please recite a salavat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. But now let's head back to Imam Hassan. Before we go deeper and deeper, I believe let me give you a little introduction about Imam Hassan in general. As we all know, Imam Hassan was the first child of Imam Ali and Bibi Fatima, and he was also then the first grandson of Rasulullah. It is reported that it is our Prophet Muhammad that chose the name Hassan for Imam Hassan, and he greatly adored and loved Imam Hassan. The first 7 years of Imam Hassan's life were during the lifetime of the Prophet. He was present in the story of Mubahila between the Prophet and the Christian delegate of Najran. Imam Hassan was present with our Prophet during the event of Mubahila. As we all know, on the 21st of Ramadan, 40th after Hijrah, after the martyrdom of Imam Ali, Imam Hassan became the successor of his father. Imam Hassan became the successor of his father after his father, Imam Ali. More than 40,000 men pledged their allegiance to Imam Hassan. More than 40,000 men, they pledged their allegiance to Imam Hassan on the exact same day. However, Muawiyah, he did not accept the Khilafat, and after, all those who pledged their allegiance to Imam Hassan ended up betraying Imam Hassan. You can see that all those, the people who pledged allegiance to Imam Hassan, they ended up betraying Imam Hassan. But my Azadar, some companions were loyal and stayed with Imam Hassan. That is very important to understand. The word Hassan, in Arabic, it means good or beautiful. This name, once again, was chosen for Imam Hassan by our Prophet. According to a hadith, this name was chosen by Allah's command and did not have any precedent in pre-Islamic history, which means before Imam Hassan, nobody had the name Hassan. It is reported that Imam Hassan would attend the session, the lecture of our Prophet, and when he would go home, he would retell his mother what was revealed in those sessions of our Prophet. Sulaim bin Qais is reported to have said that after the demise of Rasulullah, when Abu Bakr was chosen as the caliph, Imam Hassan would go with his brother and his parents to the house of the helpers, and he would call them to support the khilafat of Imam Ali. It was also reported that he was against Abu Bakr sitting on the minbar of the Prophet. After the demise of Rasulullah, when he saw that people had chosen Abu Bakr as the caliph, Imam Hassan, his brother, and a couple other his parents, they would go to the house of the helpers and they would say, "Oh people, stay on the right path, do what Rasulullah said, and come and support the khilafat of Imam Ali." And he objected Abu Bakr sitting on the minbar of Rasulullah. One day when Imam Hassan saw that Abu Bakr was sitting on the minbar of his grandfather Rasulullah, he objected Abu Bakr. Imam Hassan said, "You do not have any right to sit on the minbar of my grandfather Rasulullah. This minbar belongs to us." These were the words of Imam Hassan. Imam Hassan was present in the 4-year khilafat of Imam Ali, my Azadah. Remember, the Muslim community, they widely accepted Imam Ali as the caliph 36 after Hijrah. But us, we accepted Imam Ali right after the demise of Rasulullah. But when I say his 4-year khilafat was from 36 to 40 after Hijrah, I mean when all the Muslim community widely accepted Imam Ali. For them, Imam Ali was the 4th caliph, but for us, Imam Ali was the 1st caliph. Anyways, as I was saying, Imam Hassan was always present with his father in all situations. He was present in Kufa with Imam Ali during his khilafat. It is reported that when the people pledged their allegiance to Imam Ali, Imam Hassan went on the minbar at his father's request and delivered a speech to the people. It also appears that Imam Hassan was with his father since the first day of the latter's residence in Kufa. First day since Imam Ali's residence in Kufa. Imam Hassan was also present in the Battle of Jamal, Siffin, and Nahirwan. These are some important information for our young youth to remember. After returning to Medina from Kufa, when our Imam Hassan, he went from Kufa all the way back to Medina, Imam Hassan from then on resided in Medina. Despite some requests of his followers that were telling him to remain in Kufa, Imam Hassan resided in Medina. He stayed in Medina until the end of his life, except for a few times where he would leave for Hajj to Mecca and sometimes visit Damascus. Imam Hassan was the administrator of the endowments and charities of his father after Imam Ali's martyrdom. Imam Hassan carried out these duties. These were some of the wills that were written by Imam Ali. If you don't understand what I mean, some of these wills were towards when Imam Ali was on his deathbed, he requested Imam Hassan in his will to carry on the charities and the endowments. So Imam Hassan carried out the endowments and charities of his father requested by Imam Ali in his will. But now I feel like it's time that we move on towards the martyrdom of Imam Hassan. Because the martyrdom of Imam Hassan isn't just a small story, my Azadah. A lot of things happened even after the martyrdom of Imam Hassan. A lot of unacceptable things in society happened during the martyrdom of Imam Hassan. So stay with me as I go through everything that happened after the martyrdom of Imam Hassan. We have various reports about when Imam Hassan was martyred. Some say it was 3 days, some say it was 40 days after he was poisoned by his wife Jawda. When our Imam passed away, all the Medinans, all the people of Medina, they started mourning. In the burial ceremony, the cemetery of Baqi was full of people. It was full of people. We need to understand that Imam Hassan had requested to his brother to be buried beside the Prophet. Imam Hassan had requested his brother to be buried beside the Prophet, beside his grandfather, Rasulullah. According to a report, Imam Hassan also informed Aisha about his wish. However, when Aisha learned about this wish, and when Marwan also learned about this wish, they were not happy. For them, this was completely unacceptable. They decided, Aisha and Marwan, Marwan with the order of Aisha, attacked my Azadar. They attacked the coffin of Imam Hassan during the burial ceremony. They attacked the coffin of Imam Hassan. They did not allow Imam Hassan to be buried next to his grandfather Rasulullah. Aisha, she gave the order to Marwan and a couple of his people, attacked the coffin of Imam Hassan. They took arrows, bows and arrows. They shot the coffin of Imam Hassan with bow and arrows, and the entire coffin was filled with bow and arrows. Just because Aisha, she did not want Imam Hassan to be buried next to his grandfather Rasulullah. According to this report, Imam Hassan had already told his brother, "Oh, my brother, if something happens during my ceremony of burial, do not choose violence and avoid all conflict." That is why his brother Hussein, his brothers, they did nothing. Instead, they tried to refuge the coffin of Imam Hassan, protect the coffin of Imam Hassan from the shower of bow and arrows that were coming from the soldier of Marwan and Marwan himself, by the order of who? By the order of Aisha. When the Bani Hashim carried the coffin of Imam Hassan towards the grave of Rasulullah, as I said, Marwan and a group of Umayyads, they blocked the way. Aisha arrived there on a mule and asked the Umayyads to stop Bani Hashim. According to a report, when she found out about the conflict, when she found out that Marwan and the Umayyads, they attacked the coffin with arrows, she became, all of a sudden, she started acting. She started saying, "Oh, the reason I said that is because Prophet is buried in my house, and I don't want Imam Hassan to be buried in my house." That was the excuse of Aisha. She became a whole drama. That was the excuse of Aisha. "Oh, our Prophet is buried in my house. I did not want Imam Hassan to be buried in my house." This was the claim of Aisha. And she said, "I just don't want anybody to be buried next to our Prophet." You could see how much drama Aisha did. Her excuses. In reality, it was out of jealousy. She did not want Imam Hassan to be buried next to Rasulullah. This is the reason my Azadar, Imam Hussein and the Bani Hashim, they buried Imam Hassan in Jannatul Baqi. But my Azadar, it's not over. The story continues till today. Look at Jannatul Baqi today. I encourage my Azadar, go on Google and write Jannatul Baqi. Try to find one picture in today's society of beautiful cemeteries. No, instead, you know what you will find? You will find a destroyed cemetery. You cannot know who is buried where and who is buried here. They destroyed everything in 1925. My Azadar, up until 1925, these beautiful domes, they were visible. They were visited. But after the demolition of Baqi, you cannot tell who is buried where. My Azadar, it takes one Google search. Go and Google and write Jannatul Baqi. You will not find a single picture from today, from the 21st century, where you can see and identify the graves in Jannatul Baqi. My Azadar, as you can see the hate they had for the Ahlul Bayt before, and the hate they have for the Ahlul Bayt today. Before, they did not allow Imam Hassan to be buried next to the Prophet. Today, they do not allow anybody to be buried in Jannatul Baqi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.